welcome back to the channel. I've finally done something I've been working on for quite a while. I've hit driver rank A. The last clip in this video is going to showcase the race that propelled me into A rank. I'm super excited. It's been a long journey, ups and downs, twists and turns, some not so good moments, but some pretty good moments at the same time. So here we go with race 1. Trying to gear up into second gear immediately as soon as the timer's done. Entering into turn 1 here. Not quite able to trail brake like I wanted to through that turn. He ends up stopping a little short. Everything's okay, no contact there. Got to be very careful on this turn here. If you try to get on the gas too hard, you're just going to spin it right around. Coming through the turn. Slow down, making another turn. It's a good spot to accelerate, and luckily we've got a good slipstream on him here. Unfortunately, it's not too long, so we won't benefit from it too greatly. This turn I had a lot of trouble getting exactly the way I wanted to get it done, but here's kind of where the way I executed there was pretty much the way I felt was the best way to take it on. These S's, on the exit you're alright in the GTR, but kind of entering, you have to enter a little slow. But as long as you hook it up right, we're going to end up getting a good solid run here on Wagon and pass him up into the hairpin. Looking for that black box on the left, that was what we were using as our braking point. Hooked the turn up alright. He's still on us here. We weren't entirely sure if we were going to have the move kept, but after I made this turn, I was pretty sure it was all good. So we're going to go ahead and skip ahead to the end of the race, because from here on, it's just him kind of keeping a 0.2 to a half-second gap all the way up to the end of the race. Here, he must have had a little bit of an issue about a lap back, and we'll have another issue. You'll see as delta increases right there on that last turn, and actually finished 4 seconds ahead. That was a good race. Got a victory, and as you can see, I believe this was my 20th. Yeah, got 20th win there. Fastest lap, clean race, and a victory. I'm going to move on to the second race. We'll end up seeing Wagon quite a bit throughout this, and keep him in mind. The last video clip is going to feature him in a very unfortunate situation. The third race in this little series is we're going to end up meeting a new player. Aside from Blaz, we'll see him again, who, yeah, seems to get pretty angry at Wagon. Immediately shifting as the timer changes over and gives us control. Don't want to over-rev in first. Braking, we're able to get a little bit of a better move into the first turn, not getting grouped up as much. It's nice when you can see those first 2 turns clean, no bumping. And hook up this apex a little tighter than I like to there, but we get out cleanly. You got to be very careful though. There's like a little hump right there next to the curb. If you try to gas too early, the rear end just completely comes out. End up taking that a little wide, but get a little bit aggressive on the gas there. Keep it in order. Hook up the first turn nicely. Into the second. Keeping it alright. Keep a nice tight apex there. Fortunately, Wagon ended up catching a little bit too much of the edge of the track there and caught himself a half-second penalty. We're not going to be able to hook up the same move we had on him prior here. This turn, this hairpin here, I feel like, man, the Porsche just really had, and the Beetle, as we'll see in another race, just has just so much more dominance on that turn. We really have to kind of get the GTR to kind of force its way through that turn. A little bit of unnecessary downshifting. The second gear did help me get through those turns, but as I went on, I realized it wasn't helping me as much as just slowing down a little bit was, and making sure I took the right speed through those turns. Good slipstream down the front straight here. Able to trail brake successfully into the first turn. Hooking up the hairpin. Easy on the gas. Wagon's getting a little bit of a rear end loss there. I got a little bit of a buddy next to me here. I was hoping to have the slipstream on him here and be able to pass him up when he took the penalty, but unfortunately had to leave space for Drew. And, oh, a little bit of contact. I had to leave space for Drew, and it just put us in a bad situation. Beast Duva, we're going to see him again, and we'll have a pretty good battle with him on the last race of the series here. Right now I'm just trying to focus on seeing if I can get any kind of position back. Duva's doing well. We've got to run. We can see it happening. Is he going to go defensive? No. So we are going to have the straight line speed. Oh, not quite. Yeah, so he's able to hook up the outside of that turn in a way that I just would not be able to do so in the GTR, and he keeps the position. Perhaps if I had just been able to get that speed up on him, but where he had the slipstream, I think that did help him quite a bit in keeping up. Hook this turn up all right. Downshift again, kind of needlessly. This turn also took a little bit of practice, but you know, I tell you what, you can really abuse the curb here, and you should. Again, going to try to go up beside him. I am making gains, and just for some reason, I guess, I don't know, I think he did the right thing there. I think maybe he just realized he was going to hit the back of Wagon and just veered off and, you know, wasn't willing to do so. So props to him there. Excellent work. I see somebody on my side again there. Try not to cut back over on him too far. Tries to come around on our left. Luckily, we're able to keep everything driving forward at a good pace. He wasn't able to gain any kind of advantage on us. Again, focusing on trying to hook this up right, but just go wide, open up a space on our side. But we're going to have the inside at the start of the S's, so that's there's just no way you're going to get around on the outside of these. Hectic downturn or downshift there, and end up losing traction. Make sure to try to enter safely, but didn't see the guy behind me. Ends up giving us a little bit of a bump. Sorry to him. I really should have checked my rear view before I re-entered the track. Kind of mess up the apex here, but I feel there was just no good way for me to get around this turn. I couldn't figure out any good way to get around the turn. It all kind of felt like I was just losing time no matter how I approached it. A little bit of grass, but still keeping a decent momentum. Missed the apex here again. I'm a little jittery for some reason in this race. Needless downshift, over abusing the curb. Abusing this curb correctly, but not nearly as much as I should. On the straight, too far away to get any kind of slipstream. Trail brake into the turn, which always seemed to have caught me up by a couple tenths. Seemed to always be taking that turn just a little bit better than most of my competitors. Hitting the apex about where I'm actually wanting to catch it. A little bit of slide, but everything's all right. Final lap here, we're going to be able to get anything done. They're fighting up in front of us. Some light bumper-to-bumper contact, but nothing too critical. End up getting a little too friendly with the inside of that curve, pick up a half-second penalty. And that's actually on the last lap where I'd done the same thing, got too friendly with the inside, ended up picking up a slippery bit of surface area. That's what lost us position to P4. Exchange of positions there. Decent apex here. Gas. And instead of needlessly gearing down to second, stay in third. Didn't quite hit the apex there, but I end up hitting it better in later race. Wagon's trying to get a hold of the other position again, but for some reason slows down here. I asked him about it. We got a 1-second penalty, though, by the way. I asked him about it, and he said he just kind of... He's disillusioned, kind of getting tired of the game, wasn't worried too much about his DR. We pick up 6th with the 1-second penalty. You know, even though he tried to pass us a rise position, it didn't matter in the end, so... Alright, let's jump into race 3 here. Part of this video is going to be a little bit of a call out to the driver behind me in the GTR. CTU B4. Him and Wagon are going to get into a little bit of a scuff at some point later on in the race that I'm unable to witness. I wish I had saved the replay here to know what happened, but in Wagon's defense, man, we've been behind this salmon-colored Porsche every race this video, and in some of the videos that I didn't showcase here. Wagon's been more than respectful to every driver, including myself, so I can only assume whatever it was a mistake, or maybe CTU just likes to throw his problems at other people, but we'll see. It's going to get pretty heated behind him, but CTU is going to take a little bit of a bump us wide here, and not be too sorry about it. We're going to leave him space regardless. He turns into us, and I guess gets upset that we had done so, and immediately targets my rear quarter panel and pushes us wide once more, which leaves room for Men's House. Not really much we can do. There's another driver here, MJX, on our right rear. Men's House, I guess, is being a little bit cautious through the hairpin, which causes us to make connection with him. MJX is able to steal another position for us. So 3 positions lost because CTU wanted to push us wide. But MJX gets a little bit wrong, goes off the side there, and we're able to start getting a good run on Men's House, but we're going to end up making a slight bump with him in the rear. He goes defensive. With that little bit of a boost, we lost that momentum, but we still have some decent front-running speed. We're going to try to pass him here. We're going to be able to be successful. As soon as I see that my back bumper is in front of his front bumper, I just kind of pull it over a little bit, and everything seems to be fine. There's some very light touching, but no real detriment to either of us. Well played on that whole round through there, sir. We're going to go into the last series of turns here. Going to hook up this apex really nice. At this point, my eyes are on CTU's bumper. I can't say that I'm not a little bit upset that I've had to fight through all that just to catch back up with P3, and you know, had to waste a whole lap to try to regain a position, which I'm still doing here. But you know, you just can't hold on to it. You just got to go ahead and go forward and continue to run your race and let everybody else run theirs. Brake pretty well into this turn, into the hairpin, down into first like normal. It looks like Wagon up front has gained himself a half-second penalty. Hit up this apex better than most. Push on through, slight shimmy in the rear, but nothing to write home about. decent first apex. Probably a little slower than I'd like to be taking it. Catch some of that inside turn and get slick again. But he looks like CTU's picked up a half-second penalty, so if I can just close the gap to CTU or even pass up CTU, I could possibly gain 2 positions here when we come around for that straight after lap 4 or turn 4. Do okay on that apex. Not my proudest moment. Do fairly well in this turn, so I'm able to keep on the gas all the way through that section. Decent apex here. Push on the gas and keep as much speed on that little section of that little straight section for the next right turn. Use that curb, so we're going to get a decent run onto CTU here. Really trail brake through this turn to get the most out of your speed there. Alright, you can see their timers are starting. Unfortunately, on turn 4, turn 4, I'm not going to get a very good run out of here. I just completely missed the apex, so the only person I'm going to be able to really gain any advantage off of their penalties is off of CTU. At this point, I'm a little wary. Is he going to get a little too handsy with us here, as he had done before? No, it doesn't look like he does. Through the S's again. And looks like everything's lining up for us to get another move on Wagon, as we've done before. As long as I hook all those up correctly, I'm able to get a good run on Wagon, go around his right side into the inside of the inside of this turn. We're going to go ahead and skip forward. It's a huge 4-second gap there to Blaz with only a lap and a third to go. And as you can see here, finishing up lap 4, it's increased to another half-second. So, yeah. I just wanted to keep that delta down as much as possible. He still ended up gaining quite a bit. Blaz was a really fast driver between the 2 races we saw him in. There just wasn't much I could do to keep up with him. He really knew how to take those turns. Here's confirmation of P2. Really piling on the progressive clean, or the consecutive clean races there. At this point, you can see that they get into a little bit of an argument. Well, just calls him dirty garbage, really. It's just, I came to his defense. I was like, man, I've been running behind this guy for a minute, or at least I let Wagon know that, hey, man, I think you're a clean driver. I've been running behind you for about 6 races this morning, and I just don't think that that's the case. Keep up what you're doing. So, but it all comes to a point in the next race. CTU's not a very happy person, and we'll see that at the start of the next race. So here we are. CTU's actually back in 5th instead of directly behind me this time. Beast, we're gonna have a really great race with him on the final lap. We're mostly playing catch-up up to that point. But going into turn 1, Wagon's not going to have a good time. In the pre-game chat, he told him he was ready for his dive bombs, but I don't think he nor myself were prepared for a dive bomb this early. Because this one made me jump out of my skin here. Barely misses myself and just absolutely takes them both out of the race. That was an absolutely disgusting move, regardless of what issue you had with any racer from a prior race. It's time to move on. It's not good behavior, and I actually end up reporting him at the end of the race here. I don't do that very often, just because sometimes I'm not sure it really matters. I'm not sure that anything actually gets done about it, but I couldn't let that not go undocumented, I guess. Best way to put it. I'm gonna hit up all our corners all right here. Beast is getting a little bit of a lead on us at the start. And mostly it's going to be kind of catch up here over the course of these laps as I try to just lower that gap as much as possible, because I'd really like to take home another victory. And plus I've been watching my Kudos Prime account, and I know that I'm right there on the edge of hooking up this DRA. And I want to make sure I can get the most points out of this race to make sure there's not even a, little bit of point difference left over to where I have to race just one more. I want it, and I want it now. But able to keep the delta between us down. Be using this corner as much as possible. Gap's coming down just a little bit, but that's expected on the straight. Unfortunately, it's not too long of a straight. Miss my apex pretty bad here, but I'm able to keep it on the road. Still right on top of him. There's a decent little, almost 1 second gap behind us. So we don't have to worry about behind us. We just have to focus on what's in front of us. Get the rear sliding out a little bit, but I don't lose any time. If anything, I'm just gaining time. Delta behind me up to 1.5 seconds. And the delta to P1 still just right there in that 1 second margin. Not quite meeting my apex where I'd like. Hitting it up better on the second. Slight lift here to get the front of the car in. And then just flat out all the way to the hairpin. Took up a 1 second gain from that, but we're going to bring that down easily here on the straight. Got to abuse that. See the black box, brake. Decent apex there. Go a little wide, but took that turn quite a bit better than he did here, so we're going to start gaining quite a bit on this part. And like I said, as long as you're careful, you can just pretty much go flat out all the way through here. Decent apex there. Immediately get on the gas as soon as you can. Pull back out. A little bit too abusive on that curb, but we do have it. The delta down 2.7 seconds. Alright, can we make sure he doesn't beat us out too much here? We do. He goes a little bit wide, so we're going to get a very good run on him here into turn 1. Setting another fastest lap, as we have in all previous races. Doesn't quite brake correctly there, so we're going to end up right on his tail through this turn. Where he's got a lighter body, he's definitely able to kind of keep a higher speed through that turn, where I've got to be so much more careful with the torquey rear end I've got. Missed the apex, getting a little bit scared that I'm not going to be able to keep a gap down between us. As you can see, my nervousness is transitioning into my shifts. Kind of shifted down into second for no reason. Hooked up all my turns here pretty well. Again, going to bring the delta down a little bit. But where the Beetle excels so much in the first sector of this course, it just sometimes it doesn't quite feel like I'm really making any time at all, because ultimately I'm not. He's still sitting kind of right there between that half second and full second margin. Got another decent run here. Watching for my braking point. Decent apex. Gonna get right up on here. Gas. And slow down immediately to meet the apex. Alright, so now we've got a real good bit of slipstream here, being as close as we are. And we can tell that he's paying close attention to us now, because last lap and he chooses to go defensive here. So we try to keep a good wide turn there. So alright, so he's predictably getting a little bit ahead of us here. There's not really too much I can do about it. Probably mostly due to my own skill level. But did not get too far ahead of us like he normally does. Question is that going to change when we take this turn here? No, I'm going to hook it up pretty well. And gain just a little bit of time on him. So going into the S's, we're in a good spot. Make sure I hook up this first apex well. Kind of miss it. You know, if I hadn't messed up these S turns here, I would have been right on him, and I could have possibly pulled the same move that I'd been pulling on Wagon in the Salmon Porsche the last few times, but just not able to make it happen. Try to push myself into his slipstream. He's going to remain defensive, so we're going to take a wide line as possible, which you really need for this turn in this car. Grab a little bit of grass on the inside of the turn, but apparently it's not really cutting the game doesn't consider cutting the corner there, so no penalty, thank goodness. Alright, pushing through. He's going to go defensive once more. It's the last lap, last couple of turns. I probably should have tried to abuse the space he had left me a little bit more. Maybe I could have held it enough into this final turn and got the inside here. Maybe, I don't know. It would have been really fun to have tried to do. I just wasn't quite using the track that was allowed to me, so kudos to him. It was a great race. Just sticking to a slipstream to try to make sure that the gap between us is as small as possible as we both come across the line. But here's the second confirmed. Clean races. Fastest lap. And consecutive 6 races, so I think that set a new record for me there as well. It was just a good morning all around. Good morning. And as you'll see right there in the upper right hand corner, got that DRA. Very, very proud of myself. But here I am saying thank you for the great race to Beast. And yeah, again, a call out to CTU there. I'm gonna call you out there, bud. Just get it in check. Get it in check, friend. It's not worth being that upset over. It's really not. It's a game. We're all trying to have fun. And, I mean, you're just not going to improve if you're going to... if that's the way you're going to act. You got to learn to put it aside. But, thank you so much for watching. Tried to commentary again. Don't know how well it turned out, but I hope it's alright. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day.